Good morning, ma'am, and good
Good
morning,
morning.
dear participants.
Good
We
morning, sir.
are we are to start the session 2 of the day, and the topic of the session is importance of online teaching in the classroom today. Will be led by Dr. Savita Dilip Manjekar. Ma'am is the principal of the Lord's Universal College of Education since 2016. Since 1996, she is working in the field of teacher education on positions ranging from the assistant professor to associate professor and the principal. At present, she is working in Lord's Universal College of Education as a principal and also equally involved in conducting refresher training sessions on methodologies and strategies to the teaching learning process for universal staff from junior and degree colleges. She has published many articles in UGC approved journals and also authored books on ICT in education and scientific methods of teaching history. Ma'am, we are blessed to have you for enlightening us today. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I just okay. If you can see me because I'm seeing the screen here, but there is a window. So good morning, everyone. As sir said, I'm Dr. Savita Manchekar from Mumbai, and I will be talking and discussing with you. I don't know if I get the chance and opportunity to discuss with you all. So about the importance of online teaching in present day. So when we talk about present day, we always think of the situation that we are undergoing at present, the COVID situation and crisis all over the globe. That is, everybody is experiencing that. We are not different than them. So what, how to motivate teachers? See, this session mainly is I focused it on that how to motivate the online teacher to understand that the importance of online teaching. When the topic is given online teaching, so I am focusing on teachers. So teachers online platform, when you call teacher, it sounds little odd, but then um, we cannot help but go back to our conditioning. When we see anybody passing on the information, we say teacher, but is she or he can be a facilitator, and more appropriate for online platform is facilitator of learning, because she has no other option but change her strategies. Whatever strategy she was using in F2F situation, she has to change it to the online platform, virtual platform. So here, forcible teaching, I would say, or passing on just information will not be suffice because of many aspects that we are going to discuss today. So let us begin with that. I will share my presentation, but I would also love that if you can interact with me in what way, through chat, or maybe you can keep your videos on whenever you want to raise your hand, a virtual hand, and then we can have a nice discussion on that, because my presentation mainly is focused on uh, the exploration. It's not text field presentation. So I would love that if you respond to my questions, or maybe if it is not possible, I will just try to make it more interactive and more interesting for you all. So I assure you that my presentation and my session will not be boring to you all. Okay, so because it's very heavy, every day you are going through many sessions. So let us make it lighter and also likeable. Okay, so I'll share the screen now. Just a minute. Sir, I could see the, because I'm not very well versed with the Zoom thing. I'm always on Google Meet, so I could see the sharing of screen, but now it is gone. Some advertisement is coming up here. I don't know how. Hello.
Ma'am, you are having an option share screen, no?
Yeah.
Just
I
you
had
use
initially.
Yeah, just use your
But you
mouse.
know, automatically I went out.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just try and come back.
You just take your cursor to the bottom.
Yeah, it is there. I had seen it, but now I'm not seeing.
When you move your mouse cursor, it will be visible.
Yeah, I'll see. I don't know. You have already shared for me.
Yeah, yeah, I have shared.
Oh, that's why. Okay. So, if you can let me know if you can see what I'm sharing.
No, ma'am, you haven't shared yet.
I'm not yet shared. No?
Yeah.
That's what
Can you see the
Because
Zoom?
then suddenly what happened? My screen had gone, and then coming back to offline mode. But I'm seeing the video here.
Yeah, let me see.
Just a minute. I'll just go back and come back. Huh?
Maybe ma'am has done full screen, so that's why she is not able to see.
Pardon?
Yes, ma'am, maybe like it's full screen, just minimize it and then see whether you are able to see the options.
I'm seeing I'm going offline then,
Ma'am,
So
ma'am, are you seeing the options like mute, start video, stop video, participants, etc.?
stop video I'm seeing.
Yeah,
Leave
just
more. Shall I go to more?
either more or
Or
check
chat
you are
button.
having an option share screen button itself.
That's what I'm seeing, but I'm not getting. I'm getting only mute, start video, and more. In that, only few options are there. But let's see. You have to train yourself. Technologically, you will have to train yourself, and also you have to also train other stakeholders. These are the things you have to understand the nature of the change that you are going to adapt, and then accordingly you will try it out in the implementation stage. When it is in the implementation stage, you are also analyzing. So your implementation stage and rephrasing goes hand in hand, because when you have decided, you have planned, you have defreezed many things, you are now looking forward to the change and you are trying it out. This is a trial and error system that we are at present undergoing. So we used ppts, because we are used to that, using that. Now what was happening when you were using in the physical situation the ppts? For example, ppt is not the only multimedia. I'm using ppt here, but then there are different ways also, in different multimedia also, like Prezi and all sort of things online available. During when you were using ppts, you were told to like use the technology. Many of the teachers, you will find that the slides are full of text. There is multimedia principle. Those principles have to be looked into when you make your presentation. So though according to the students liking, according to the students understanding, grasping, all those things should be kept in mind, and then you have to prepare your slides. PPT also can be the source, or presentations also can be the source of exploration for students too. That is why in the beginning I said, online teaching, mainly when you come to any kind of technology based teaching, you need to facilitate learning. You cannot use any presentation as the notebook. Okay, so when I'm talking about importance of technology or online learning for teachers in the present situation, I have to build up this background. That's why I was saying that this paradigm shift was for this change mindset, and then come up. Simple example I gave of the uh, PowerPoint presentation. Simple PowerPoint, everybody is familiar with that. How it is changing as soon as you change to the virtual platform. This is where I feel that you have to defreeze your mindset for presenting a PowerPoint or any multimedia. In the classroom, chalega attitude. Students are seeing, if they don't understand, ma'am, I don't understand. Then you were using PowerPoint presentation, not you. I'm not saying you. Most of the teachers as the notebook. The student used to write it down, the text inside that. But very few teachers think of exploring, giving the opportunity to students to explore what is written. So that's why minimum text, more of the elements, those will instigate students to explore and answer and interact. Now online learning is very important provided it is very interactive. So you have to make the change. So this example I've given to make you understand what is defreezing. Okay, then you come to implementation, then you say, okay, now my presentation would be something different than what I was doing. So then you try it out. When you try it out, you also analyze, looking at the students responses, looking at students interest level, looking at the students performance outcome. Then you say, okay, it's not working very well, let me make some improvement in that. So as I was saying, that implementation stage is not you have prepared yourself and then you're implementing and your job is done. It's not that. Then you analyze and then make more implementations. Then you say, okay, this is working very well, you rephrase it. So rephrasing is that phrase where the third stage comes in, but it goes hand in hand with the implementation. So there was a criticism on this model by some educationers saying that rephrasing term never comes because change is dynamic. Agreed, change is dynamic. So rephrasing is also rephrasing, rephrasing, rephrasing. That goes up, because that's how you will enhance the quality of your education learning. Okay, so these are the three stages, and in that those three stages you have to go for the paradigm shift. Once you have done so, then you will see the benefits that you are getting of online. So let us focus on what is the the importance of online learning or teaching. I would say online teaching, because this term is very rarely used. Online teaching, we always say online learning, because teacher facilitates learning. So teacher's role is a facilitator here. But since the title is given, so let us go for that. It will also connect or identify ourselves with our profession. That's all. So this is how this paradigm shift is inevitable. It was forced upon us, but gradually we are accepting it. Once we have accepted it by going through these three stages, then it will show you the results. Okay, so then what is, first we will just understand what is online learning. So I would love you to tell me which of these, I don't know whether you will be able to, which of these can be called as the sources of online learning. Sir, can I have interaction?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so that is why, I wanted participants to tell me which can be the sources of online learning.
Yeah, dear participants, when ma'am is asking, no, please respond to ma'am.
Yeah.
Then
So
it
what
will
are
be
the
live.
online learning modes you are seeing, which can be called as online learning modes? Can be all of them. Pardon?
Computer.
Computer, yes.
In fact, this telephone also, I think.
Yeah.
If this is a landline, I don't know. It has a certain restrictions, but definitely, CD.
Then
And this screen. What about the screen? If this is a collaborative screen and we are
no,
sharing
this is just an
something.
inbox, email,
Inbox. No, did not.
It's not online learning.
No, it's online. It is. It is.
It is. It is. And what about the radio?
Broadcasting. Yes.
Yeah. And what about the CD?
CD. No. I think.
Okay. Okay. So you are more or less you are correct, partially correct, I would say, because if you look at the computer always cannot be online learning. Okay. Then telephone is online learning anytime, because it has to, we have the online talk that can, yeah. So that is why this this understanding of online learning is very, very necessary when we go ahead with the importance of online learning. Okay, so computer, if it is connected to the internet, then it is online learning mode. Okay, otherwise you just use the CD, you use inbuilt operational systems and softwares, and then you start working on that. So it may not be online, it is offline learning. Okay, so by saying so, let us look at the definition and confirm our understanding about online learning. You know, there are certain words I have painted in red, the font, red font, that is at distance, then synchronous, asynchronous, and then A3 education. I would love that you paraphrase this definition and let me know what is synchronous and asynchronous, because unless and until you know what is online teaching and online learning, then you have to, because I have defined it as online teaching. So if you look at the beginning, the process of communicating knowledge, it is said. That is why this definition is self-prepared. That's why I have not given you the link or anything. But when you say teaching, it is the communication of knowledge to learners, correct? No, when you paraphrase the term
मैं नहीं कर रहा,
teaching,
मैं लीव कर रहा हूँ सेशन ये
pardon,
लगने दी पांच हैं
pardon, sir. Can you hear me?
Please continue.
Yeah. So when I say process of communicating knowledge is teaching, remember, I am communicating knowledge to the learner. What does that mean? Means I have prepared a message out of the information. Then through a particular channel, maybe online channel, I am sending the message to the receivers, which are those who are learners. They receive it. Okay. Now when I say communicating knowledge at distance, what does that mean? It means students are not with you, correct? So now assume that sometimes correspondence can be through letters or anything like that. It is not online. But when I say at distance, I'm talking about online. Because when I say on the using online platform, using synchronous and asynchronous mode, I would love if somebody can tell me what is the difference between synchronous and asynchronous. Both are online learning modes.
Synchronous is in the real-time setting, ma'am,
Yes.
and asynchronous is the vice versa.
Pardon?
Asynchronous is not in the real time.
Yeah, but then how come it becomes online? Okay. Yeah. If you please carry on.
Ma'am, synchronous can be what we are doing now.
Huh.
And asynchronous may be in the form of MOOCs.
Yes. Very good. We'll just get better understanding of both the things in my next slide. And then our definition also talks about A3 education. Anybody is familiar with this term, A3 education? Acronym of something. It is anytime, anywhere, anyone. Okay, this is A3 education. That is possible only when it is online. So you can sit at night, you can decide the timing, you can have you can be anywhere. The same class students, today we are facing the situation wherein our students are dispersed because during lockdown, before lockdown, they must have gone somewhere and they are stuck there. They are taking education, your class, they are attending your class from that distance. So this is A3 education that we are undergoing. And this is the best benefit or advantage of online learning. So what is online learning is that A3 education provided or provided to students at distance with by using asynchronous and asynchronous. It's a very simple definition. So remember, for online teaching or online mode you want to use, then you have to have internet connected. that is again biggest hurdle also in online learning teaching, is that sometimes internet is not very strong, and then you face many problems of voice distortion and all sort of things. So that is why sometimes it is always advised, if the crowd is bigger, it is advised that please keep your videos off, and then only audios off, and then only when said that time make it active. So because this is the problem that everyone is facing. So by understanding this online teaching, let us go for better understanding of synchronous and asynchronous. Look at the comparison given. As one of the madams said, real time and time lag. It is online. Okay, so it has to have internet required, internet connected, and then only your computer can go online. So your computer is a machine which can be used offline as well as online, OFF offline. Then it can be on mobile. That many of the students, they don't have laptops or other types of computers, so they are using the mobile. Most of the students are using mobile today because they are not equipped. Their parents are not equipped for online teaching mode, and that is a sudden change I was talking about in the beginning. So that is why mobile is more used by students than the computers. So that is the thing that sometimes on mobile, WhatsApp is the thing that we are using, or simple email we are using, or we are using messaging, simple messaging we are using, or audios, or whatever recording you are sending, they are using it. So that also can be online or synchronous mode. Then here in synchronous mode, you get better opportunity for interaction, like how I can get some participants to talk to me, isn't it? But here interaction can happen, but at time lag. Like for example, you are responding to the email after some times at your convenience. So it is a time lag, then that is why it is asynchronous mode. But is it online? You have to go online to read the message. Then examples I have given here. That way you can differentiate between synchronous and asynchronous. Both are A3 education. Both can be A3 education. So this is what is the concept of online learning. So let us go for the importance of online teaching in the context of systems approach. Let me first tell you, you all are aware because you all are teachers, so you know what is systems approach. Systems approach is the way of looking at any education or anything holistically. Okay, so you cannot say that one stage is independent of another stage. So there are three stages that we undergo in systems approach: is the input stage in education, input stage, process stage, and output stage. So let us see the importance of online teaching learning at the input stage at the present. Now let me tell you, when we are into teaching learning process, what are the things that we do at the input stage? Is that our students, their understanding, their maturity level, their IQ level, understanding of that, accordingly making your content analysis, then based on content analysis making a plan for your lesson. So all these things together, when you make the preparations, this is your input stage, preparation for your process. So how the technology can help you better in making your input of the teaching learning process more effective. Okay, so this is A3 education. That's why it is very wide. It has wide scope for planning for individualized learning. Now, when I'm saying individualized learning, I would say even in F2F situation, when we write our plan and objectives, we always write pupil explains, the pupil states. So we use the verb for single pupil. It means we are not using it for only one. We are not making that plan only for one student. It is for everyone. So here also there is a lot of scope for you to have. Like how it can be possible, you to plan that way. Like for example, if I am taking the lesson and I'm not seeing my students' faces because of internet problem or anything like that, so they are just keeping their, they are logged in and they are showing their presence, but we do not know in this otherwise what they are doing. You can't see. That is the biggest limitation of online teaching learning. So in that way, what will be my strategy? So that you have to think first. That is your input stage. So when you get time for that, you can imagine, you can also talk to them. Mentoring can be the thing. All those things, how I will attract their attention when I feel that. So what are the ways? Like for example, when I'm asking questions, I will ask by calling out the roll numbers. Roll number 10, come on, tell me. So then they are alert. See, this is one simple example I'm giving, but that I have to plan earlier. Suddenly in the process system, I cannot do that. So I have to plan for everything. So then, even input stage also, you get more autonomy to teach. What does that mean? Like when you are planning your lesson, you have full freedom to decide how to facilitate learning for all. That is your freedom. Okay, your autonomy is that what are the things that I'm in the if you explore the internet, this world wide webs, you will find there are so many add-ons. If you try exploring those, if you try to explore if you try to explore those, you will make your presentation better. So that has to happen in input stage. So you get that autonomy to use different add-ons, and add-ons in the sense like you can use maybe some for example, if you are making MCQs and giving examination, so you will add on put some timer add on to that, so that you can set the paper with the time and all. So these are the add-ons for presentation. There are many like Peer Deck is one app that you can use. It's very beautiful app, you can try it out. So and there are many more that you can use, like Flippity and all sort of things, to make it more interactive, so that you have to plan for that. And that is the importance, and that is the freedom that teacher gets. So this is one another importance of online teaching mode. Offline you can think of, but there are not many that you can do. Hearing that the entire globe is under your control. So whatever information the globe, the world is giving you, you are sharing with you. You are making use of it for your better learning, facilitating better learning. Okay, and that's why, that's exactly is the third point. So this is the very important aspect of online teaching learning. So that you should make maximum use of things to facilitate learning meaningful. Okay. So if you look at it, the teacher is relaxed. The teacher and student interaction is going on. There is a lot, you can say that information, a lot of information you can get it from access from www, maybe synchronous mode or synchronous mode, whatever it is. And you can have good interaction with students, relaxing and all. This kind of setup that can be planned for students, the time flexibility. But some nowadays in schools it is not possible that you can have your time flexibility. It will be according to timetable set by the school. But apart from that, there are many other things that the teacher can do. Okay. Then you get the chance for professional development. Just now somebody was talking about MOOC, asynchronous mode. MOOC is there are so many universities, famous universities that are offering certificate courses, 6 weeks, 4 weeks courses. And if you don't go for verified certification, you get it free. Like edX and all are the providers for this kind of courses, edX and Coursera and all. So you should, the teachers take opportunity opportunity of growing professionally. Like for example, I am teaching technology. I would love to know more about Excel. So how will I make use pivot table and all sort of thing. I do not know how to do it on present face-to-face situation when I'm using the Excel sheet or something like that. Here I'm getting chance to learn. So it's just 4 hours, 4 weeks course. and I'm just done with that, and I'm enriching my knowledge for that. So there is a lot of scope for professional growth. Then customization of technology, that is a very important thing that the online learning and teaching gives you. Like for example, it's a simple PowerPoint presentation, you are making it, and you are trying to bring in some more add-ons to that. You know, those add-ons are basic add-ons, basic versions are always free. You should always try it out. So many, if you go to and all schools have got dedicated Google service for them. So for Google Meet or anything, or Zoom also for that matter, they Google offer for dedicated services many add-ons. So if you go to the inbox, there are 6 dots given, you know, like those are actually apps, you know, new apps you can add on to that. There, if you go on for more, you will find so many apps, and those can be at your service to make your presentation, to make your teaching learning. So you have to plan for that, and then you see the result when you go for learning out. Okay, and there are many free learning or varied online platforms that you can have it, like Moodle is there. Of course, individually teacher cannot do anything, but then, you know, for maybe for mentoring and all, you can use these online platforms, and GoDaddy and all those things, you can use it and make your lesson there. Even Google Simple, Google Meet also, it is offering individually, personally also. So you can use that. For example, when I was talking about new technical skills customization, I am taking Google Meet, okay, and in the Google Meet or maybe Zoom Meet, I don't know, Zoom has this facility because I'm not very well versed with the Zoom. We have got dedicated Gmail, so G Suite we have taken, and then that is what we are using. So in that, I am using this Google Meet, and I am teaching my students, you know, discussing with students. I want to use discussion mode. I want to use cooperative learning. How will I do that? Because I require group discussion there in synchronous mode. I hope you understand when I'm using synchronous and asynchronous. If you have any doubt, please, you can stop me there and get the clarity from me. Huh? So then at that time, what I will do, I will create quickly. I'll tell make groups, and I'll make one group member the coordinator, and I'll say that create your own G Meets, and then I'll give them some time to discuss, and they will share me also in that. So I will be also seeing from one group to another group to third group and see how they are doing it. So like how you get the feel of F2F situation. Like when we have group work done in the classroom, we just move around what that group is discussing, and this way it is possible. So there is customization. Now you don't require any bigger or very complicated infrastructure for that. You have at your service. So make use of that. You have your own Meet, then you ask one students to create their own Meet, something like that, and then simultaneously that will go on, and the teacher can move around and see how it is being going. This is how we can customize it. So this is the greatest importance that we are getting, even over physical situation, or maybe like physical situation. This is Moodle's screenshot I had taken, and then it is offering so many things like flexible learning, online assessment, and learning peer research, then collaborative learning. So all those things you can access, and that too at the input stage you can keep it ready for your process. Okay. Now at the process stage, facilitating learning is most important for that. What is facilitating learning is that make a student responsible for their own learning. This is what we have to do. Constructivist approach, if you know about it, constructivism, many of you or all of you must be knowing about it. So constructivism demands or says that let students learn. Let students construct their understanding based on their previous understanding. And then they learn new learning. There are 5 E's of constructive, basic things. 5 E's is the acronym of stages starting from E everywhere. Like for example, engaging, then exploring, then explaining, then elaborating, and also evaluating, and all sort of things. So this is how it goes on. Now, if you look at it, even engaging stage, the teacher is little active. She has to arrange for that, and she will give something maybe in a case study or cases, or maybe some kind of video shown or something. And based on that, the question, problem-based question will be asked to them to be explored. The students will do that. So see, when I am saying that an online platform, how it is possible, because I've got asynchronous sources and synchronous sources with me, I can make use of it. So even I can tell them that I show them something and use the flipped classroom there, and I say that flipped classroom is also used in constructivist approach. So there I will say, okay, now you have your own groups and blogs and discuss on this problem. The questions will be given. So and then go for some internet sources wherein www and find out how the more information about it. So they learn on their own. So because they have been given the responsibility to explore, to find out the solution for the problem, they do it in group. Okay, and then they come back, and then when they come back, they try to solve the problem. So focus is on the context. The problem might be a contextual, maybe familiar to the situation. It is not related, directly related to the content, but it is familiar to the situation. So in that way, they will also first focus on the solving of the problem of the familiar. For example, COVID-19. So COVID-19, I'm going to give them some psychological aspect or context in that, saying that stress level. Find out what is the stress level of the students at this moment because of the situation. Do a survey. So this is the job given to them, and they do, and they first talk about concentrating on the COVID-19 situation. Then gradually teacher will connect it with the stress management, that is the content to be taught. Okay, then they get the link from that. So they construct knowledge based on their understanding, previous understanding, and then they connect it with the new knowledge that they learn. Okay, so then elements of that, and then give them more elaboration, like give them more videos about stress management. The focus will be on stress management, and then after that they will go for evaluation, maybe some kind of application questions or all these things. So this is how facilitating learning is possible online by using different modes. This is the biggest importance that we are getting here, of online process. Take that. We have to go out of the box, think out of the box, and say, okay, I've got only these many things with me, but I can use those. These are easily available, free. There is no cost attached to that, so I can use that. So this is how I will think, and then I'll try to bring in those things. So customization, improvisation is very, very important, which happens. Okay, and another important thing is that, as I said in earlier, that those students are not in Mumbai, or those students are not in the place where they used to learn, like maybe a city from Kerala. They have gone to some other place, but they can connect. You can connect with them, and maybe real-time meet or doc sharing or something like those. You all know about these features of online learning. So doc sharing is a simple document. So I'll get it after this sharing, because I don't want to disturb it, because otherwise in Google Meet I would have immediately gone for email and then shown you how it can be done, but I'll show it towards the end if time permits. Okay, so sir, please 15 minutes earlier let me know that the 15 minutes are left. Okay, sir, because
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
I should not go beyond the time limit that you have set.
Okay, I'll let you know, ma'am.
Yeah. So then this is how you can make use of it, and then you make your process stage of teaching learning very, very effective. And that's where then once it is effective, then it is very important. Importance of online learning is attached with the advantages, significance, advantages. Though sometimes we mix things, but it is like that. Why it is important? Because it gives you this so and so. So that is how it is attached together. So always remember that, and that is why I'm making good use of the title given to me. So this is where they're in a fun way talking to each other. There is autonomy of teachers, autonomy of students also. On blog, You create a blog, the students will create their blog, maybe group wise. You decide the groups earlier in the info stage, and then you say that, okay, go to your group and then discuss. So five students together, like in cooperative learning, we cannot go beyond 6 students group. So that is how the students, or maybe you can have some different topics given of the same, different aspects of the same topic given to different students, and they come back, and then there is a good lot of game kind of evaluation that takes place in cooperative learning. That also can be done very well here. So this is where I'm showing the smiling faces here. They are so happy to discuss about the content. So happy to discuss about the content itself is very significant, I would say, because content boring है. मुझे बहुत बिल्कुल बोर हो रहा है ये सब्जेक्ट. ऐसे बोलने वाले बच्चे ज्यादा होते हैं, पर जब उनको आप इंटरेस्ट एलिमेंट्स देते हो, that time it is very interesting for them. So you can use emails, you can use synchronous mode and as well as asynchronous mode. Then in the process stage also there is a collaborative teaching. So what is collaborative teaching? There is a difference between cooperative teaching and collaborative teaching. Collaboration is on a larger scale, it is taken generally. I'm not going deeper into that. And cooperative has got some product coming up towards the end. Collaborative can be developmental in nature. So, it goes on learning. The person goes on learning, like Wikipedia, if you say. It is a collaborative discussion. And then when there is a blog, the blog ends somewhere because you have given some problem of maybe a stress related problem I spoke about, and you come up with the situation, there it ends. So you get the outcome there, and here there might not be outcome coming up. And another way is large scale collaboration. You do it is that when 2-3 student teachers teachers from different schools come together and teach the law together. This is possible in online setup, which is very difficult in the physical set. That is the clear distinction between the two setups. Here, that importance provided you use it. Like for example, our practice teaching, we are B.Ed college teachers, and I hope all are B.Ed college teachers only. So we go for practice teaching. Now practice teaching is very difficult nowadays, that the schools, because of parents pressure and then many other pressures, the schools are reluctant to give these trainee teachers the chance to teach their students in real situation. Even at least in Mumbai, that's why government has come up, university has come up and said that okay, you can give simulated lessons also, but only giving simulated lesson to our students, that is it has got its limitation. So what we did, we actually collaborated, 2-3 colleges collaborated, and their teachers were supervising our students, and also our students were teaching their students, and this kind of collaboration we had, and they got enriched experience because their style of teaching is different, their type is different, our type is different. So that exchange took place very well. And they learn from our students. Our students learn from their students. And same with teachers. So this is type of collaborative learning teaching you can do in online setup. Then parents and teacher. I just mentioned that the pressure of parents mainly, because now the parents in this situation has become, they can see their children learning. They know what is going on. They know that how teacher is teaching. They know what is going wrong. They know where the teacher is making mistakes. They know who's the classroom and why the other person is there. So they're constantly alert about. But naturally, because of their child's this thing, they got the chance now. Because of this situation, because of study from home situation, they got the chance to see what is going on in the classroom. Otherwise, in schools, the parents used to go only for parent-teacher meeting or open day or some kind of thing, and they used to have what students used to convey to them. This is not going well, I'm not very happy with this, or something like that. So that was discussed. It was not witnessed by parents, but now parents are witnessing that. So there is a lot of pressure on the management and the teacher. So when I said that they were reluctant to give us the schools, where the real students to teach, they said that parents don't want any other teacher but their class teacher. This pressure to be reduced, it is in hands of the teacher. The teacher has to build good rapport with the parents. How it is possible? It is important point I'm discussing here, but make sure that you have to make it important. So how it is possible? You have constant meeting with parents. You talk to them. You give them freedom to talk, or maybe vent out their anguish, their disappointments, their happiness, whatever it is, and then build a good rapport with them. And then once that rapport is built, no, then if the teacher says there is another teacher who is practicing with students, I will be there. Teacher will be happily obliged. That has to done in the defreezing mode for parents also. I was talking about Kurt Lewin's model. In the defreezing stage, it has to happen. So it is defreezing for teachers, not only teachers, also for all other stakeholders. So this, if it is happening, then this good equilibrium can be set. So then it is very, very important aspect of online teaching. Okay. Then teacher gets me time. What is me time? She can be relaxed, teach, like look at the cat sitting and all sort of things. You must have observed that ladies coming here. But you know, it is part of it, you are accepted. So this is fair. Only thing is you have to etiquettes or protocol of the online teaching has to be followed very strictly. Like there are certain things that you have to know about the technology, know about the camera, know about the voices around you, know about the importance of muting your audio. When you are listening, you mute it. When you want to talk, you unmute it. That has to happen very naturally. When this natural thing happens, you should you will be able to see the fruit of it, because you know that students will be wanting to attend your class. This situation has to be created for by the teacher. Then it is very, very useful using online platform. Okay. Now there is sense of trust and team spirit. That has that is a very important aspect of online teaching. What happens, you know, sometimes in the classroom, I'm with the teachers in the teacher staff room. Then I am also knowing each other very well. Then I am conveyed by some of the students, because it happens that there is some kind of gossiping going on, or the complaints or the disappointments are vented out by students or by other colleagues and all sort of things. What happens? You lose the trust there. Why? Because you're constantly present with around, and then you are talking to. What is happening here in the virtual setup? You are not physically present. Then what happens? You have no other options but trust your colleagues. This is in cooperative learning. This is one of the essential elements of cooperative learning. In any cooperative learning, it makes it different than any other group work. Cooperative learning method. Here, the trust factor, social skills to be developed forcefully in you is very, very essential for making cooperative learning more effective and meaningful. So here you have to have trust for your colleagues, the proper team spirit, so that better coordination will take place, better cooperation will take place, and then students will see the difference, in a good way. So this is how online learning provides you the platform to start trusting and building rapport with your co-teachers. It happens. There will be less criticism. There will be some kind of thing that you don't want otherwise to talk. You can get the things done from third teacher. But here you have your one teacher only who is going to share with you. So you have to have a good rapport. So this is how compels you to have this. So this is very important aspect of online learning. And as you know that we get our feedback through Google form is created for teachers also. So one teacher is teaching, other teacher is observing, or maybe teacher is also teaching and observing her own lesson recorded, and then she sees that okay, this is not going very well with my teaching. I should improve. So this kind of feedback, immediate feedback you are getting. That is another aspect of online teaching. And you can use varied learning strategies. I was just naming about constructivist approach, very cooperative learning, flip classroom, even simple discussion method can be used online. That depends upon the content, requirement of the content, and also uh, requirement of the students maturity, because of the students maturity level and all. Accordingly you have to do different teaching aids also can be used in the virtual form, and demonstrations and all can be conducted. So those have to be explored, and then your online teaching becomes more useful. So this is where, you know, I was talking about how the teachers can build trust through staff meeting, constant staff meeting and all, and then have a nice different strategy like experiential learning you are giving them. So what is experiential learning is that you, I just spoke to you about 5 E's, wherein the students are exploring. So that is they are undergoing experience. So they're all embedded, you know, embedded to with each other, and then you have to find out. See, the strategies are given in a particular format. The stages are given. Everything is given, but you can customize them. It is in the hands of the teacher to customize them, these strategies, and make it more useful for online platform. Okay. Now we'll go for the last output, in input process output, that is learning. Now here it is very useful that it has, we have seen that 10th standard, 11th standard, 9th standard, it's all are going for MCQ. That MCQ term has become so trained into trained, and then people are saying we are taking MCQ. But you know, MCQ, multiple choice questions, are very difficult to frame. They can be based on Bloom's taxonomy of all 6 levels of learning, and all, from comprehension to creation and all, and judgment and evaluation and analysis, all those things. But there are certain criteria that the teachers have to explore and research on, and then create things. Because if, unfortunately, if you look at the quality of test that is given to students, so many clues are given in the STEM itself. The student can guess the answer very well, or sometimes the answers are so vague that they do not know which answer is correct and what is given. The language is not used properly. There is no homogeneity in that. So you have to first learn. So defreezing stage I was talking about, that if teacher is equipped well, then it is very beneficial and advantageous. Then it is very important aspect of online teaching. You can find out the students' performance, how they have done, whether they have genuinely done it or not, and you can also find out whether your objectives have been achieved or not. So MCQs can work. Then there are descriptive questions that then you can have it. Those can be given online using Google Form or Monkey or .com or something like that. There are so many other. So you can use any of these things, and then you can have objective performance. If you want to have it, you can attach proctor and timer. There are so many providers nowadays. They are providing you the service of conducting examinations, and most of us are doing that. When it comes to, like in Mumbai, the cluster examinations are being taken, like in the BEd colleges, wherein 6 colleges are clustered together under one cluster lead who's NAC A accredited, and that cluster lead conducts like a miniature university examination, wherein everything can be done very well. The question bank is prepared, then the question papers are set up. 3 sets are given to the cluster lead. The one of the set is selected by lottery method, and then it is given on the during the time of examination. So that kind of transparency is maintained there, provided you have good intentions for that. I would say that, because I don't want to comment on that, but there are many loopholes that people are using just to show 100% result, which should not be good for, which is not good for the students in future in long run. So I think the teaching ultimately is a noble profession. Whether nowadays the money is attached, and that is essential. nothing materialistic things have come up, which are essential. But ultimately, you look at it, it is a noble profession. Why it is noble profession? Because a teacher from inside should be a teacher. Inside should be a teacher, thinking that I am doing a noble job, and then you will see the result. That is the only thing you have to do. Okay, then the results can be analyzed automatically. Immediately you get MCQ's result and you can declare the result and you can tell. Then there is scope for mentoring. There are scope for recording documents. So all those things can done automatically. How much efforts the teacher used to take in the physical situation, now online teaching has made it very very easy possible for them. Okay, so online test here, the analysis in the graphical form can be given. This timer and proctor can be attached, and wherein the teachers, the students can be, their videos are kept open, so students movement can be recorded, and then later on there is a trust score in that attached to that, and if it is 70%, 80%, it can be taken as a good performance or good objective test given by, objectively the test given, honestly given by the student. And a timer is also given, so within that time period you have to. So asynchronous mode also you can use it, wherein you give at that time the sender forms to them, they are writing at time, so you will make it look alike synchronous way. But of course it is always when given, you cannot say that it is synchronous totally in a pure form. Then auto translation is another thing. I know all teachers will agree with me how much hassle it is to translate the paper in Hindi and Marathi or in local language. So difficult. English paper said to kar diya, but now to translate it in Hindi, the vocabulary is different, terminologies are different, and then you have to find out and this and that. Now internet has given you the platform wherein auto translation can be done. For example, if you go to Chrome extension, there are so many on website. If you go, so many translators you will find, Google Translator, this and that. But if you take the Chrome extension, no, there is translator, Google Translator. You have to just attach that to your internet bar, and then whenever you require, you open it and go for Google Translator. Entire paper you copy paste in the English side, and entire paper in 2 minutes you get in your language. There are so many languages you can translate that within 2 minutes. Of course, after that you have to format and see whether it is the vocabulary is familiar or not, and you can make the changes. But that will not take much time. So entire paper, I would say, entire paper you have written, entire paper you have translated in Hindi or any other your local language in 2 minutes. Because as soon as you paste it here, you will see. This is the benefit of online teaching platform, which is actually saving teachers for making for overloading of them. Examination is more boring only because of certain things. One of these is this. Okay, and then there are facilities given online, formative and summative evaluation. Like for example, if you have LMS Learning Management System, there are assignments, there are projects, so many things that you can do it. So formative assessment, administrative task, informs instructions, the examination, student work. This is from teacher's point of view. These are the things that you have to do. So every stage also, when you are teaching, like if you put Flippity or you put something like that storyboard or some add-on. So whenever you take a piece of information and present it to students, immediately you can have confirmation of their understanding by giving some situation or something there, and they just through interaction, you will come to know that they have done it. This is one way of formatting. Then you give the task to them and do it, like the constructivist approach I was talking about. Those things can be done. Now there is auto translation facility, as I said. This is where I was talking about. So Chrome extension, if you take, okay, I had taken the screenshot. So if you look at this is through Chrome extension I had taken. So if you look at it here, this English version. Now you just copy here the paper which is already prepared online or maybe on a document, and then within 2 minutes you will find here Hindi translation, because we have Hindi translation mainly and Marathi sometimes, some based on the students availability or students requirement. So this is how you can make it immediate. And this you should use it. Then you will find that this is really good. Online learning is really good. Online learning also gives you infrastructural facilities like cloud storage system. You know that Dropbox, many of you must be using the Dropbox, wherein wherever you go, you don't have to carry your computer. You just have to go online and open your Dropbox, and all your matter is there, whatever you have saved it there. So it goes with you, wherever you are going. I mean, in Google Drive, you keep it in the drive, and then you can use it anytime. So you have to just have your email and you can get it. There are so many other cloud storage system. There's cloud service systems are there, which you are actually using it when you are using internet. Okay, so this facility is given, which we don't get otherwise in face-to-face situation. You have to carry your notes, or maybe CDs or all those things wherever you are going. This hassle-free storage system can online teaching learning system or a platform allows you. How many social media platforms you will find? Facebook, Yahoo, or this browsers you can find. This is a Dropbox I was talking about. This is icon for Dropbox. Cloud storage, there are more. So these things you can use all Google Plus, G Plus, which allows you to even make the groups and all sort of things, and Twitter and all. YouTube, you know about it. YouTube is the best mode that we can get it. Resource and source both. Like when it becomes resource, that time you see only due to youtube.com for that particular area, and if you want to convert that into a source, it should be it is attached with your specific requirement. Then it becomes a resource and then source. This is how it is interchangeably used, but it a little thin line between the two. Now here I was talking about Peerdeck. See that Kahoot. These are the add-ons that you get when you have G Suite. Here, Google Meet. Then Edpuzzle is there. Kahoot is very famous nowadays. It is very good for mathematics students teaching, and Flipgrid, and all these are add-ons for presentation, for evaluation, for even for preparing your lesson plans. So you can use this and make your online teaching more effective. And that is where then it becomes very important for making your teaching learning process very, very meaningful. Okay. One-stop shop for teacher. The online teaching setup has provided the opportunity for teachers to have everything sitting at one place. Whatever the notes, anything printable material. If you go to www, there are varied types of resources. You can get it. You can get games. You can get those can be played. YouTube, as I was talking about. Images, you want to, the images I have taken, of course. There is a setting in every when you go to browser and then you try to search for something, you always go to the setting, and for its drop down you will find advanced setting. Go there and go to the drop down. There it will ask what type of material you want. Go for common creative licensing. If you go for that, it is easier for you to use. People will not blame you for plagiarism or any kind of thing. So that you have to avoid. These are the etiquettes that you have to follow online also. So this gives a teacher a platform sitting at one place and giving what is required to students with the varied experiences, learning experiences, and so considering the individual needs. What are the things for e-teacher to make online teaching effective that are required? Okay, so little bit of interaction. I think this is the last slide I'm doing it. I don't know what is the time. So
we will have time for discussion.
pardon?
10 minutes we can take for discussion.
Very good. So
after
then
it.
I'm actually ending it in the right time. So
Yeah.
only thing is I want little time for this slide. And I want participants to tell me what are the qualities that are required in teacher to make online teaching more effective. I have discussed that along with it. So maybe they can just give one term in that. That will, and little bit justification. That will, I will be very happy to hear the voices, to whom I'm addressing. How many participants we have, sir?
Ma'am, we have 198 registered participants.
Oh, so I think there should be you have to unmute and just talk. It's very simple now because we all are teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please respond to ma'am, please.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Ma'am, for the online teaching, the content should be prepared very well prepared, and it should be age appropriate content. The content should be age appropriate.
Okay, very good. So it means the teacher should be well prepared, correct? For
Yes, ma'am.
making online teaching very good, very good. I'm very happy for that. Well prepared teacher only can make online teaching more effective. Very well said. Anything else?
We can use
Ma'am,
interactive mode by
Yes.
involving learners while teaching.
Yeah. So what quality that is coming out? If a teacher is using interactive mode on her own, so what is the quality that is coming out from the teacher?
Teachers should know all the ICT tools and explore how to use effectively, miss.
Correct. So you are talking about two qualities. One is teacher being a researcher, correct? So that is a very essential aspect of every teacher. She has to be a constant learner and innovative. She wants some out of the box things to be given to my students. If this kind of attitude you have, then definitely online learning becomes more effective for students. And you will find 100% attendance of students for this kind of teachers. Okay. Anything else, ma'am?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
So, madam, I just want to quote you two more points related
Yes,
to
sir.
e-teacher. They are, the first one
Yeah.
is a teacher must be updated personality.
Okay.
As he is going to teach a lot of different kinds of children. Right now, the children are so efficient that
Yes.
even sometimes they are more faster than us in some activities.
Correct.
So we must
Correct.
be updated one. And
Correct.
second important thing, right now our role has been changed to not being a teacher, and now we are becoming a facilitator.
Correct.
Rather than that of providing, we must provide different channels to the children. That's what my idea is.
Yes, sir. So it means the teacher being a facilitator. So teacher should always think of being the guide by side, not on stage. Correct, no? The teacher who's guide by side is the teacher who will make online teaching more meaningful for students. Well said, sir. Anybody else?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes.
Goodwill
to change
their attitude. The students.
Yes, ma'am. One at a time.
Sorry, ma'am. This is Bhargavi.
Yeah, Bhargavi, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. What I feel is, see, the traits which a teacher should have in today's online classes is that, they should have this sense of humor, because I feel when the teachers have this sense of humor, they'll be able
Yes,
to
very
allure
true.
students into their into them, and they'll be able to attract students and make them to listen to their classes. They'll make this punctuality come up in the students, and they inculcate effective learning inside students. I feel that sense of humor is one trait inside teachers, which is need for the hour today.
Yes, very true, ma'am. Because this we call it in our language, like language of education, is rapport building. This helps in building rapport with students. So students will say, "Oh, this teacher's lecture, I want to attend." So students have to be, they have to show their eagerness to teach under one particular teacher. That is the teacher's quality. The teacher, this teacher is popular because of these reasons. So humor really makes a lot of difference. And in between, talking about like that thing you should be knowing. So that's why I said contextual learning is always better. Teaching is always better. So always give illustrations of day-to-day life. Ask them questions in between. So that session becomes very likable. That lecture becomes very likable by to the students. Correct. Ma'am, many things I have not added to what I have written. So I'm really happy. I'm learning from you people that these are the things, the qualities. So whenever I go for next session, I will include that. Anything else you would like to say?
One more point I would like to highlight is
Yes,
what
ma'am.
I experience in my classes is following the problem solving approach.
Yes.
At least every day we have to give at least 4 to 5 minutes time while to go through some informal discussions talking about their problems and what the things they are facing. And
Yeah.
I think by that way also we can attract more students and make the
Yes,
class
ma'am.
more interesting.
So we call that it's mentoring. You know, the teacher should be a good mentor for students. They can feel free to talk to the teacher, whatever problems they face. You know, that is what I think, what I understand. Secondly, as you said, problem solving method she should be using. Uh, there are two methods. I would like to just highlight on that. There is a problem-based method and there is problem-solving method. So generally in science and all, you know, once you learn everything, then you ask them any contextual problem, like maybe a day-to-day problem, and they say solve it based on your understanding. But when it comes to problem-based method learning, therein in the process the problem is given. So as I said that 5 E's, in that you are giving them the chance to explore on something. Some problem is set, given to them in any form. Maybe they have seen our movie or they have seen something, or you give a simple case or any anecdote you give, and then you say that, okay, what is the problem? Find out. So they go and search the reference material and all, and then they find it out, and then that is connected to the content. That is called as problem based learning. So in constructivist approach, problem based learning is always given, you know, like scenario based learning and all, role based learning given. So in that, context is always in the beginning at the focus, and then it is connected to the content. So that is a process. But when you say problem solving method, then it is the teacher needs to make sure that the students know the content very well, because the problem may be day-to-day problem. That means the context is given later on. Content is taught and then context is, content can be learned by students using different methods and all, but based on that content the contextual problem can be solved. So that is a little different in that. And third aspect, as you rightly said, that mentoring, knowing what are the problems the students are facing. If you remove those and then you teach them, your teaching is always better. Nothing like that, you know, that is mentoring is also. So teacher should be a very good mentor. That I agree with you. Anything else?
Ma'am, I believe that there should be a teacher should develop certain creative mechanisms, certain creative methods to
Yes.
keep the learner, to keep the student interested, at the same time engaged, because engagement is very important for bringing out the positive outcome.
Correct. So what you were talking about, teacher being very creative. So I was discussing, you know, in my earlier slides, that customization, then using add-ons and also like Peer Deck, you should try it out. Peer Deck is very beautiful app for add-on for presentations. So you have to just add it on, and then, you know, there are certain things. How are you feeling? So students make faces and all, and then that one code is given, so they automatically their screen is active, and you can see even immediate feedback of your teaching also can be given by students immediately. How did they like the session and all. So I should have added to on here, but then, you know, I didn't get time for that. But then later on, then you have to pay a very meager amount for subscribing it, but initially you can try it out free. You try it out, please. So this is how, you know, she should be very creative. She should know how to customize the things, whatever is available, and make it more cost effective. It is not always costly, you know, the infrastructure buying that management does. You know, if you are in a school teaching, then they say that you have to go online. So then the university and the government compels every school to create the infrastructure for that and then provide it. Even the school teachers are given a laptop and all those things the management has to. So everything is in your hand. Now, what is the autonomy that you are getting is that customization of your own teaching learning process. And that is the creativity of every teacher. And every teacher is creative, I'm telling you. If properly trained during B.Ed college, B.Ed training period, they all become creative. They know how to use the strategy. They know what are the things to be made. They know the psychology of teachers, students. They know the sociological aspect of, so all those things are meaningful in the syllabus. So syllabus is very beautiful, B.Ed syllabus. Only thing is, you know how to use and apply the knowledge that you have gained. Okay. Anything else, ma'am? Okay, so you require some time for feedback, and then I'll go for this. This is what I thought, that intrinsic motivation is first thing for the teacher. So defreezing stage, when you talk about, I need to defreeze, I need to unlearn my earlier thing, and then I want to go for the relearning process. So unlearning, for example, teachers have 10 years experience. How will I unlearn things? It is not possible to build rapport online. When you say so, you are not ready. So rigid mindset is obstructing you to be intrinsically motivated. So you should look forward to new things that are happening. See, negative things happen, but try to find out positivity in those negative things. Like, for example, this situation is definitely negative because it is taking toll of the humankind. You know, somewhere we are suffering, we are scared, and all sort of things. We are bound within four walls and all. But still, you get some opportunity out of that. That should be the positivity in that. So intrinsic motivation is very, very essential for every teacher to make online learning more important. Okay, mindset to accept the change. So when I want to accept the change, let me have that, create that mindset for that. So let me learn what is the new technology, what are the changes that I'm undergoing. You know, those I have to adapt. So all those things. How will I analyze my students now? At that time, I was analyzing, he is quiet, he's introvert. Now new set of students will be given to you. You do not know about that aspect of students. How will I analyze those students when I am online? Because online learning is going to stay. Might be later on there will be a blame, the schools will start, but then online learning will not go. That is for sure. Because we have learned a lesson in a very hard way that we need to change to online. So we cannot again defreeze that totally. Maybe we'll make improvements, bring the blend of both, but that is going to stay. So always remember that MCQs will be online, they will be giving, or maybe in a formative form. Now we are giving it in a summative form, but there has to be that change is going to remain stay. So that is why you have to accept that change, so that it will be easier for the teacher to use the online platform. Your readiness to learn. This is already given by one of the participants, very nicely explained and elaborated also. Social skills, I said that trust, your team building and all this, the patience. Patience is very important. The students are not, now we had in Marathi it is said, chhadi lage chham chham vidya hi gham gham. That has gone. Kidhar hai chhadi? You can't do anything beyond anything. The students are logged in saying that my internet connectivity is very poor, so I cannot keep my video on. Then what can you do? You cannot do anything. So that is why you have to have the patience, mentor them, counsel them, try test them whether they are learning or not. There are different options that you need to learn, and you will learn, because you want to make your teaching learning process more interesting. So that is it. Okay. Dedication. My dedication for F2F situation, also for this situation, is equally important. There is no high and low for that. My dedication towards my profession has to be there. That quality is applicable even in online platform. My research mind, one participant had very nicely explained about being creative and researching things and trying out different things, customization, and take user-friendly attitude. I'm so scared initially. I do not know, this machine is like Hawa for me. It's not so. Machine is a machine, man-made machine. The programs are fed by man. Man's intellect is in. So I am one of them. If you consider that, like for example, driving. When you learn driving and you see, my goodness, how speedily the cars are going, I will not be able to drive. So people in between leave driving. You know, they say, no, I don't want to learn. This is not my cup of tea. But look at them, those drivers who are not literate and then who are driving so well. They don't require any kind of education for that. So you say that this is a capacity. This is a skill. Anybody can learn. So why can't I? So this is a positive mindset, that is how I would learn to have it. So this my attitude to positive attitude towards any technology, any new thing will help me to excel in that. Gradually, I'll give you my example. When this technology had come, so we were very scared, how will I do? And then it was put on me suddenly that you have to take the technology, educational technology, because the feedback that is given, it was considered as a dry subject. That was a challenge for me to make it very interesting. How will I make it? Using the gadgets. So you have to be techno savvy for that, and automatically, and you keep on exploring. If you open, then you get many things. If you don't open, it remains shut. So that is the mindset and attitude you have to develop about technology. Then these are the basic qualities, and also many more qualities given by teachers. Having said that, I would say a teacher is a facilitator. Teacher is teacher understands the teaching profession as a noble profession in this context. Thank you very much. These are the references I have taken. All are licensed one, and I could use these pictures and all. You can these upper ones are for pictures, and the below that I had taken some reference from PDF for knowing what is online learning and all. But always remember, whenever we are going for any PDF or reading it, as it is, never you should take. Paraphrase that and write your understanding and make your own. That is proper. Nobody is going to challenge your work after that. Okay. Thank you very much. Shall I stop sharing, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Ma'am, I have a small query, though it is not directly related to the content.
Yes, sir.
I am confused. What is the transdisciplinary learning and interdisciplinary learning?
Interdisciplinary learning is, separately you are learning different subjects separately. But interdisciplinary doesn't mean that you are isolating one from other. It has to be looked into holistically. So when you are teaching, learning about history, and you try to integrate geography together and other together, bring in the correlation between that. Holistically, you are learning interdisciplinary. That is interdisciplinary learning. Okay, but you are learning holistically one aspect, taking help of others. And what other learning you are talking, sir?
Transdisciplinary. Transdisciplinary.
Transdisciplinary. It means maybe you are talking about intradisciplinary. Correct? Interdisciplinary, that is, it means, like, for example, I want to make environmental education as one subject, interdisciplinary subject. I want to make it a separate subject, which has its syllabus, which has its examination system and everything. But what I will do, that I will bring in all the elements of other subjects in that as a content matter. Okay, and then I will teach environment. So what will happen? Again, I am looking at it very holistically, and then the examination. Interdisciplinary approach is a separate, wherein the separate syllabus for separate subjects are given. So you don't have to give examination for interdisciplinary. You don't have the training for that. But for interdisciplinary, you need a training for that. This is what is my understanding, if I am not wrong, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Anything else? Yes, sir.
Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am. It was a very wonderful session, and
Thank
you
you,
talk
sir.
about synchronous and asynchronous. And practically speaking, I used in my sessions in the course plan
Yes.
asynchronous very much. It means
Yes.
that out of 3 credit, 1 credit I devote to asynchronous, which means comprised of Coursera or Neptel or talking about Harvard, including videos, including other things I use in asynchronous. So
Yes.
I hope your point of view is very much relevant for today's pandemic, even because online teaching has to have synchronous and asynchronous both. So thank you so much. It's a very wonderful session, a very enriching session for everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
That actually, like, I'm happy to hear about it, that you liked it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope I have understood from the participants' response that the sessions were enjoyable and
Yes.
we had good learning. And from my bottom of heart, I wish to on behalf of my university center at Malappuram, I express my heartfelt gratitude to you, ma'am. And I wish to call any participant to give a feedback and propose vote of thanks to ma'am. Anybody? Anybody from participants?
Yes, sir. Myself, Professor Pawan Mokhodkar. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Continue.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is Professor Pawan Mokhodkar from Yavatmal, Maharashtra, ma'am.
Yes.
It is a very immense pleasure to hear you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
As we face since 1 year, we all are taking the lectures online. So as you directed various points, so it's very, very important. We definitely apply it in coming days while taking the online lectures, and definitely it will help to the students also.
Yes.
So I really thankful to you, ma'am, to guide us very nicely. Thank you. Thank
I
you very
thank
much.
all of you also for giving patient listening to my session. And anytime if you have any query, anything, you can always contact me. Sir has my email address and all. You can always contact me for that.
Thank you so much, ma'am, once again. And I'm Dr. Sumit from University of Petroleum, Dehradun, Uttarakhand. And the way you have explained, actually practically we are using, because we are using Blackboard Ultra for online teaching. So everything we record it, and it is mandatory to have a synchronous session for students, because they will access the Blackboard and they will see the entire recordings, and they can see the recording done by the professors. So and thanks from our side, because your time and your efforts have what to say, it's extremely well for us to understand everything in detail. So thank you so much once again from my side.
I'm happy to hear about you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Sir, can I leave now?
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Thank you very much. And participants, we'll have next session at 2:30.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Have your lunch.